Hello, I'm Berni Xiong, Life Spark with Berni Xiong LLC at www.bernixiong.com. Today is Monday, January 3rd, 2011. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope you had a warm, safe, and happy holiday season. This is episode 5 of Get a Life Spark, and a lot has happened since episode 4 last week, Monday. Firstly, if you missed it, I was on the Morning Blend show, and I made an announcement there that I had also made an announcement on a prior video blog of mine on Christmas Day that I'm going to be taking a temporary hiatus away from the Milwaukee region to finish my first book by June of 2011, to return to the region after having done so. So that was my big announcement to everybody. I really count on all of you to hold me accountable to do it. That's why I made such a huge announcement, and that's why I have a huge and ambitious goal this year. I resolved to finally get that book done. So thank you all so much again for your support and encouragement. I look forward to achieving that goal with all of you watching and being there to cheer me on. Anyway, I had asked that you either send me a question or a scenario that you wanted me to share on the air and to provide my feedback. And I take time to look at the comments that are left also on my written blogs and my video blogs on my website, www.bernixiong.com. And I found a very interesting comment that I really wanted to share here on the air and to get your feedback on it after giving you my brief take on this question that was raised after reading my article, Can Men and Women Be Platonic Friends? That I published on November 30th of 2010. Ray writes in the comment section that he believes that men and women can be friends, but to not be upset when you find out that all of your male friends also want to have sex with you. He said all. He said the male friends of yours that don't want to sleep with you are either gay or not being honest with you. So his question then he posed me afterwards was, is it platonic? Is it a platonic friendship when one side wants more than the other? And so, first of all, I want to thank you, Ray, because though I initially was taken aback at reading the comment, it sounded a little harsh and very general. However, you are entitled to have your opinion. And so I really appreciate that comment because that was Ray's view and opinion on the matter. Therefore, you can't fault somebody for feeling and believing the way they do about something, right? We all have our own belief systems. And so again, I want to bring home the fact that if you have a certain belief system, and that's really what you buy into and how you what you use to conduct your life and to react to and to help you to take action in your life given certain scenarios, then again, I can't fault you for that. To each his own, right? As the saying goes. And so to answer that question, Ray, I've had very specific situations where I had friends who were male, who we initially started out as networking friends. There's been a couple of times when the men were vague, but I could tell from certain things that they were doing or saying that they actually wanted more than just a platonic friendship. And so it was during that time that I had to raise to them the fact that I only wanted to have a platonic friendship, and whatever decision they needed to make to either move forward and say that's fine with me, I can accept that, or I don't want to be your friend anymore because that'll be too difficult for me, or maybe not even giving me a response and just giving me the cold shoulder basically and writing me off out of their life. Whatever decision they needed to make after I made that point clear, again, is their prerogative, and I completely understood however they needed to react to that situation. Okay, so I'm not saying it's never happened to me before. My article, the gist of it was really that I've had situations where I've had friends who really have only been platonic friends, and we've developed a great, strong platonic friendship over the years, and we continue to be very, very good friends, almost like family, almost like they're my brother, right? And what sustains us is the fact that we have like minds and like hearts and like souls. And we go out into the world trying to do very similar things, even though we have very different talents and professions. And that's what draws us to each other. That's what attracts us to each other as human beings. And that's why we were able to have such strong relationships. Okay, so to your point, I'm not saying it's not likely. There have been situations I've had where sometimes who I think is a platonic friend ends up being somebody who wants more. But I'm saying at the same time, there are platonic friendships that exist within opposite genders. And so for certain assertions to be made that men and women can't be friends, I've heard that before. If men and women are friends, there's always something going on. And you hear those generalizations. And so to the point in the article I was making, was that that's not necessarily the case, because I have very, very strong friendships with a lot of male friends in my life. And so I'm proud of them, regardless of whether they come as a man, as a woman, as a whatever object you want to call it. I love them for who they are in their mind and their soul and their heart. And those are the reasons why we are such great platonic friends. Now, to your question, though, you have a follow-up question that asks, so is it a platonic friendship still when one side wants more than the other? And I think the answer to that can be very flexible. Obviously, if it starts to tarnish the friendship in some way, it starts to make things a little bit more difficult. Maybe it starts to be a little bit more emotionally draining for both people to deal with that one person is starting to develop stronger feelings than the other, and that the two people decide that the relationship no longer should be sustained because the friendship is not working out anymore, then absolutely it'll be difficult to have a platonic friendship. However, let's say somebody does address the fact that they're starting to have stronger feelings for their friend, their platonic friend, and the platonic friend responds that they are not having stronger feelings for them. That is the cusp in the relationship where a decision needs to be made whether the platonic friendship can continue or not. And again, whatever decision is made from there needs to be made and determined after honestly and candidly sharing feelings with each other. Yes, let's continue to be platonic friends, and we'll work on this, this separate feeling as it comes, and let's talk about it. Let's be open and honest and keep the dialogue going. No, I can't be friends because I love you and I want you to love me back. Or, I don't know if we can be friends long term, but let's try this out. I value your friendship enough that I want to try and see if we can continue to be platonic friends. And in time, if we decide it's going to tarnish our friendship, then you know what? Let's call it quits. So there isn't a black or white answer, Ray, to your question. In my opinion, I believe that each situation is going to vary depending on how strong the communication lines are between those two platonic friends. And so, all of you, I ask you this question that Ray has posed to me. Is it a platonic friendship when one party wants more than the other? And I would love to hear your feedback on that. Also, for next week, episode 6, please, please, please continue to keep sending in your letters with your scenarios or your questions, and so that we can share it on the air. I love hearing everything you guys have to say. I love hearing what's on your mind. And please, whenever you get a chance to take a look at my website, leave some comments. I will also be reviewing that and sharing any of those too if you have follow-up questions there. So again, www.bernixiong.com. See you next week in episode 6. Thank you so much for your continued inspiration and support. Look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye now.